sector deal set a new level of ambition and intent, and you were heavily involved in bringing that about. Can you tell me a bit about the various stakeholder organisations that were involved in that?
So it's, first of all, it was a fantastic experience. Can you imagine negotiating something for your industry with the government to change policy in the country? So that was fantastic. But what we had to do was we had to be an industry. So instead of being individual players within an industry, you had to get together. So whether you were a developer, an OEM, a trade body, Catapult, and the government, you had to actually figure out how this industry is going to work better, what your honest challenges are, and put all the elephants in the room so that you can address them. And so when we first turned up, it was, are we really an industry? Are we joined up? Can we make promises? Do we actually all have the same beliefs and path? And so we took 26 months to develop the sector deal, and I think it's a really good quality document because it had so many inputs to it, and it took a long time to debate. And now I think we grow up. Suddenly we become mainstream with the sector deal and all the elements of it. We address everything that's required within the industry to go forward. So pleased to have my name associated with it.
Absolutely. And at the outset, what did you consider to be the most critical challenges that needed to be addressed?
Well, the first challenge you have is to address the concerns that people have. Because when we started doing this as a sector deal, people not only had the cost, they also had, will it work with grid? Is there enough seabed going to be developed? How are you going to develop the skills? Are you a diverse enough industry? Are you reaching out to the right people in order to grow? So we had to tackle all of those head on. And, you know, I think we came up with answers to them all. The biggest one, of course, was the pipeline. The pipeline with the auctions and before wasn't sufficient for people to be able to see and to invest and to get their company in a shape where they had confidence there was a market. So I think what the sector deal does is it's confirmed the market, and with the offshore wind growth partnership and the clusters and the skills agendas, we can have mechanisms now to bring people into the industry and help them thrive. That was something we never had before.
From what you're saying, it sounds as though collaboration was a key learning from this process. Would you agree with that? And what were some of the other learnings?
So we recognised early on that if we didn't speak with a single voice and we didn't address this as a team, then we weren't going to be able to help the industry grow. So the government would look at us and say, I really only want one offshore wind organisation that's going to tackle the challenge of growing offshore wind safely, at a good cost, with benefit to the UK. And so therefore, collaborating as a team, answering the questions as a team, getting us all to sign up to the answers, which, by the way, wasn't an easy thing to do, but I think as a result, we've got a stronger offshore wind industry.
It certainly seems that way. And do you feel that there are learnings from the UK sector deal that could help drive growth in other global markets?
I do, because in the other global markets, the governments have got an idea. First of all, I think we've made offshore wind popular, and it's got a great brand, which it didn't have before. But then I would say to other regions of the world, do this as a team. If you're going to grow an industry, then get people together who are going to make the industry happen, rather than having them work as individuals or individual developers or only competing. And a great example of that was safety. You know, when we first started off as an industry, our safety wasn't a benchmark safety. And the first thing we did was say, safety is an industry issue. It's not to be used as a competitive advantage. We need to learn from each other. So as we go to new places and we take on new people and we take on new suppliers, there's a great example of how we've already used working as a teamwork to keep everybody safe in our industry. Let's do more of that.
Absolutely. And so finally, do you think the UK sector deal went far enough?
No. More. I think the Committee for Climate Change realised we could do more, but it's a journey. You know, we're at 8 gigawatts of offshore. We've got pipeline to 10. Suddenly we've doubled that. It's taken us more than 10 years to get the first 10 gigawatts, nearly 20. In the next 10 years, we're going to double that. So what I say is, let's set the stepping stones. And if you make the stepping stones too far apart, you fall in the water.
Thank you very much.